Evening all, it's Louise here with another episode of Straighten Your Crown Tarot. Right, I still haven't had an email from the winner of the draw for the Rider-Waite Tarot deck plus the accompanying book. The winner is Elena H-U4N. You have until next Saturday, Elena, to email me with your name and address, full name and address, so I can send this to you. If you don't come forward in the next week, I will be redrawing again until we get a winner, until we get someone who comes forward. I'm going to keep redrawing this draw. Those tarot cards I've kept very well. They've served me very well, and I'm not just going to give them away to somebody who's not interested in having won it. So I need whoever, Elena, to come forward pretty quickly, please. Anyway, right. This reading is brought to you today by The Green Witch's Oracle by Erin Murphy Hiscock, and the tarot deck we have is the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Catherine Belz-Stein. I actually was going to do a reading on Jess Phillips, but over the last few days I have had literally tens of requests for me to do a reading on the Fabian Society. So I suppose I better sort of explain what I know about them in as quickly as I can to begin with. What is the Fabian Society and what are they trying to achieve? So off the top of my head, the Fabian Society was formed in 1884. And George Orwell absolutely hated them. George Orwell was a lefty, if you like, but he absolutely hated the Fabian Society, which brought him to write the book 1984, because he envisaged that if the Fabian Society were successful in their ideology, their mission, this is what the world, the country would look like in 100 years' time. So if you go back, if you don't know the story 1984, read 1984, because George Orwell is really, it's a warning to us all in not to not allow this to happen. I believe we are very, very close to the Fabian Society having reached their goals, but I don't think all is lost. They are ideologically driven. They are a socialist amalgamation of different peoples whose main objective is changing the whole West, if you like, but not through revolution, through the back door, which is why they had an emblem of a wolf in sheep's clothing. But they've since changed that to a turtle, slowly, Catchy monkey. At the time of the general election, there were 140 Labour members. 140. It's estimated that that number is much higher than that. There are some Fabian Society members in the Tory party as well. It pervades through civil service, through the police, through the judiciary. One of the judges, supreme judges, that's overturned the Epping judgment is a Fabian. Keir Starmer is a Fabian. Shabana Mahmood is a Fabian. Sadiq Khan is a Fabian. All the Labour front bench are Fabians. Their biggest belief is in no borders. Let me think. A globalist one world government, if you like. The destruction of family, dismantling of Western culture and Christianity. The head of the Bank of England is a Fabian. And Liz Truss did say many times that he plotted against her by selling government guilds in order to crash the economy. the way they want to do this is to destroy the nation state, destroy the family, destroy Christian religion, to destroy the right to public property. They believe that the way that they can do this is by doing what they're doing, basically. If you look for an example, let me just say an example. Illegal immigration. They say they want to stop the boats. Actually, their actions don't marry up to what they're actually saying. Why is that? Because there is a threat. The illegal immigrants, not all of them, but illegal immigrants tend to be more violent. They have a higher propensity to sexual violence. That causes unrest in society. That causes fear in society. And the more frightened people are, the more likely they are to accept control. We saw this in during COVID. And the tactics are Fabian tactics. We're seeing the same thing again. But what are they wanting to do? COVID, they wanted our NHS information all digitalised. They wanted our vaccination status digitalised. They wanted it on our passport. It's a method of control. What are they pushing for right now? Digital ID. If you've got digital ID, they've got proper track on you. They can destroy you through digital means. So that is what the Fabian Society is, as my understanding. There's so much more that I could actually talk about. I mean, you could have a 4-hour lecture on the Fabian Society and still not get to the bottom of it. What I've looked into it, and when you look into it, everything's waffle. I think the idea is to bore you to death so you don't actually find out what it's all about, because everything they put out is just a big bore fest. This is why we've got so many ridiculous laws, hundreds and hundreds of page documents in one law, because they don't want you to see the fine print. They don't want you to be able to read between the lines. They want us bored to death, so we lose interest. And when we lose interest, we no longer are engaged with what's going on. This is what's happened over the last 20, 30 years. People have become disengaged with politics. And while they've been disengaged with politics, that's when all the stuff's coming. Tony Blair, he's a massive Fabian. And we all know what Tony Blair did. A lot of the laws that were brought in under Tony Blair were Fabian Society, ideologically driven laws. But I don't want to look at the Fabian Society now, at what I've just said. I want to see if there's a way out. I believe there is a way out of... I believe there is a way of ditching the whole lot, but it takes radical political change. And we won't get radical political change unless the people themselves are awake to what's happening. The people are awakening. So there's hope. Let's have a look. Potion. When I first saw that, the first thing I saw was I read it as poison. I'm trying to find it now. Potion. Come on, where are you? Trying to find it. Potion 39. Page 39. I am reading this one because I'm still seeing this as poison for some reason. The potion card tells you that a small infusion of intention, even just a drop, can invigorate you and get you back on track if you are feeling out of control. Any act done with intention can stimulate forward momentum. Choosing to empower yourself with a small gesture of concentrated magic can refresh you enough to galvanize your motivation. This may be as simple as casting a basic spell or meditating in nature. Not every action needs to be huge, and not every change is immediate and sweeping. Don't discount the magic that a tiny gesture or moment can create. Just a small drop will do. That's really encouraging, because what I'm taking from the blurb on that card is that we don't individually have to take sweeping action and heroic strides towards a particular goal. Just little actions, just a small action. You don't even have to be involved in community if you can't do something like that. Just by not being afraid, just by listening to yourself. When you've listened to yourself, you know what's right and wrong for you. It's time people started listening to themselves and not being afraid, because the Fabian Society and their goals are their goal is to get to their goal, not through war and bloody revolution, but by scaring the bejesus out of you, so that you go to the government and beg them for their control. So, but there is hope. There is hope. Just do not allow this shit to frighten you. Do not bow down to the digital ID. A lot of young guns will go to the digital ID because it's convenient. What do you need? Do you need your freedom, or do you need convenience more? Sometimes we have to go the long way around to get to the same place, and sometimes going the long way around preserves your integrity, your freedom. So let's have a look. Fabian Society. What's the chances of the Fabian judiciary, police, politics, banks, universities, quangos? They're nearly all headed by people in the Fabian Society. They have pervaded every area of life. One more. We've got the King of Cups, the Nine of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands in the upright. We had that one yesterday in reverse. So we've got this King of Cups. King of Cups as a person, as an individual, would be someone who's very intuitive, in tune with his feminine side, a really lovely, loving family man. Okay. As a collective, it's all about what I'm seeing here is that sort of the dolphins, if you like, in the stomach. It's like the collywobbles, it's the nervousness, trying to sail through the trying to navigate your way through all the stuff that's happening, because it's coming at us really fast and it's hard to consolidate it all in our hearts and our minds. But at the head of it all, it's what's important to us. We don't want to lose what's important to us: our families, our children, our relatives, the things we've worked for, our community. So there's a bit of nervousness happening here. And with the Nine of Wands, it is, this is us a little bit battered, but we're being called to defend ourselves. And I don't mean that in a physical way. I mean, you need to defend yourself spiritually and emotionally. You need to arm yourself with the complete lack of fear. You need to be paying more attention to people around you, your family, your community, the people who you hold dear, and maybe people who you don't hold quite so dear but are in your immediate community. Ask yourself, if you lost everything today, what would grieve you more, people or things? We can always get things back, but when you lose people, you lose them forever. So we need to be defending ourselves against the fear. We need to be so lacking in fear that we're not bothered about whether we're going to get locked up or fined, or there's only so much a government can do to you. I mean, apart from state killing, which they've already brought into law, haven't they, with the assisted dying bill. Don't think that was a private member's bill. That was part of the Fabian Society's agenda, let me tell you, as is abortion up to term. You know, all wrapped up in this lovely bow. Let's be compassionate. This is how they do it. They don't do it through revolution. They do it through what's the word? What's the word? Deception. They're all wrapped up in a lovely bow, depicted as one thing, but there's an underlying reason for it. And it all goes back to this Fabian Society. So we're all a bit nervous about what's going off at the moment. We're feeling the need to defend ourselves. You need to defend yourself against allowing fear into your mind and into your heart, because when fear enters your body, emotionally, spiritually, physically, that's when emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, that's how people can be destroyed. It's the lowest vibrational emotion, and it causes illness, physical illness. It weakens your immune system. It sends your body off into an absolute cortisol overdrive. This is where immune deficiencies come in. This is where autoimmune diseases come in. It's an overload of it. The only way to combat that is to not allow fear into your heart, your mind, and into your body. And then we've got this Page of Pentacles. So we had the Ace of Pentacles yesterday, and today we've got the Page. Page is a messenger. And it's a messenger attached to security, food, roof over your head, all the material things. There's a message here. And I'm not quite sure what this message is for now. So I will come back to it, because I'm being told there's other cards to come out which will put more meat on the bones of this Page of Pentacles. I'll come back to that Page of Pentacles. I don't think it's quite clear just yet what that means, but it's a messenger, a message, a messenger, a younger person, a younger person, a younger person. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, and then we've got the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is about making plans. It's about networking. It's about making trade, trying to make trade deals. It's about reaching out around the world. It's about making alliances with other countries. This is what's happening. Because the Fabian Society is not just in the UK, let me tell you, it's all around the world. And if you want to know where in the world it's been the most pervasive, just look at the countries that are doing exactly the same thing that we're doing. Germany, France, Canada, Italy, and then look at the countries who aren't doing it. Hungary, Poland, is it Argentina? Javier Milei, he took a chainsaw to a lot of this stuff, and look at the country. It's starting to thrive economically. People are so much happier. There's almost like the starting point is anxiety, nervousness, defending ourselves against the fear, because it's going to get worse. They are going to try and put the fear of God into every single one of us. Today we've got a 3 o'clock alarm going off, emergency alert. If you know how to do it, it'll have probably already passed by the time this goes out. Turn off your emergency alerts on your phone. Turn them off. You don't need the government to tell you there's an emergency. Word spreads fast enough. We've got social media. We've got the news. We've got radio. We don't need the government to send us an emergency alert. It's just another thing to make you scared. This Two of Wands, we're starting here. defending our hearts, our spirituality, our spirit, our minds, to reaching out to other countries who are also in the same struggle. This might be where this messenger comes in. And this might be not the older generations that are going to take this forward. I'm seeing the younger generations. This is a younger individual or a collective of younger people sending this message across the world. Don't be like the UK. This is the Fabian Society. This is what they stand for. These are the people who are in this Fabian Society. Be aware. Now I know what that's all about. This is younger people spreading the word, saying don't end up like us, because you might end up in a situation that it'll have gone too far and there's no way back. So far, I don't believe that the UK is in a situation that's too far gone and can't come back. Then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. We've got the Five of Wands. Okay, that's the middle card. Okay, we're playing a game of tactics here. I'm not taking more than one. I'm not taking more than one today. Just the one. Knight of Wands. 2 knights in the same row. Right, okay. Oh, this is quite good, actually. So between the King of Cups and the Nine of Wands, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. This is a slow-moving horse. The Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles is about the material world. The Knight is the slowest moving knight in the deck. This knight won't move unless all the I's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, etc., etc. There's a momentum building. People need to be stronger in their hearts and minds. They need to learn to let go of all fear. See through the illusion that's being created by these people that they're going to look after you. The minute you can do that, that's when we can start moving forward sure-footedly on stable ground. Yes, this pony is made of leaves. It's flimsy, because it would only take one disaster, if you like, or one thing to take people off kilter. The threat of death is one of them. Like COVID, it was the threat of imminent death that made people go in their droves to get a jab that hadn't been tested. The threat of death that made people stay in the houses and stand 6 feet apart from someone, and the threat of death that made people not see a logic in the illogical, when you had to sit in a pub with a mask, without a mask, but if you had to get up and go to a toilet, you had to put a mask on. People saw through the how illogical that really was, because the threat of death had been bombarding them from all sides. What they saw, what they heard. In actual fact, we now know it wasn't anything like that at all. It was a pack of lies. So, but it wouldn't take much to get people back into this fear mode. And then between the Nine of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, we've got the Five of Wands. I think our younger people, and I mean younger people, I mean under 40s, I think our younger people are going to start playing a game of chess with this Fabian Society. They've had enough. When I mean younger people, I mean there will be some younger people that don't have responsibility for taxes and jobs and mortgages and rent and all that kind of thing. But the majority will be people who have experienced what it's like to try and keep a roof over their heads and put food on the table in this climate. These are the people who have had access to social media for such a long time that they no longer look at the mainstream. They don't read the newspapers. They don't listen to the radio. They just get their news from TikTok and X and I don't know where else, Telegram and Rumble and places like that. And they started to come together. So there's a chess game going on here. The Five of Wands is competition. Fives are always about conflict in some way or another. Wands is about willpower. So we've got this battle. There's a battle of wills going on. But then we've got the Knight of Wands. We've got people, younger people, taking this around the world. They have the will to change it. They have the drive to change it. And look at this Knight jumping through a hoop of fire in order to do so. Our younger people are going to be the ones that reverse this Fabian business in the UK. And actually, I think it's going to spread like wildfire across the parts of the world that are affected by it also. I'm not taking more than one. If it's meant to come out, I'm not taking more than one. If it's meant to come out, it will. We have the High Priestess. Well, she did come out, so she meant to come out. We've got the High Priestess. Rachel Reeves is a Fabian, by the way, as well. I think all the front bench are. So we've got another 9. Have we got another 9? Yeah, we've got another 9, 2 9s. Okay. Which tells me we are actually almost at the end of this in lots of respects. So here we go, the Knight of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. We've got this. We'll move forward when we're strong enough, when we know we've eradicated the fear from our hearts and minds, when we've had enough where it's like, it's shit, this is shit or bust, let's move forward. And then people start to, I'm not saying no older people will be involved in this. I'm saying the people who take it forward will be the ones who will be younger. Then we've got the High Priestess, Pisces moon. Are we in a Pisces moon? I don't know. But this feels like this Fabian society is going to be revealed. I think the momentum has already started. I think the Fabian society, someone or a group of people are going to be looking very, very deeply into the waffle and not be veered away from it through boredom or trying to go get through all the word salad that they produce. Someone is actually looking into this, and it will be revealed, but not yet. It will be revealed. The whole thing will be revealed. And then we've got the 9 of Pentacles. This is the single lady card, but this is a really good card because the 9 of Pentacles is someone who's self-sufficient. So this is telling me that we're going to be uncoupling from this reliance on the state to take care of us. We will start to take care of ourselves, and looks like we're going to start pulling away from that need for the state to do everything for us. We've been taught to rely on the state over the last 30, 40 years, that if anything goes wrong, the state will sort it. No, we need to start sorting things for ourselves. We need to go back to self-sufficiency in a lot of ways. And I'm seeing this as like self-sufficiency as in agriculture and farming. And all the things that we used to produce and all the things, if we had the industry that we had before it was all destroyed because of this ideology, we would be able to fend for ourselves. And I know during the war we had rationing and things like that, because we couldn't really get much in from outside of the country, but people survived. People did survive. We had textile mills. We could make our own clothes and all that kind of thing. Ireland makes a lot of linen. We didn't actually need to import shitloads of cotton or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So, but it does feel like a return to self-sufficiency, dealing with things ourselves rather than relying on the state to orchestrate everything on our behalf. I think farming, I also think health might start to move away from a centralized thing. It might be more managed by the people. I'm seeing the map of the UK, and I'm seeing it being managed in smaller chunks. So not centrally. I think there will be a move away from central government and central control and this world globalization thing, if you like. Because Keir Starmer did famously say that he preferred Davos to Westminster, but that's not surprising either, because Davos, their ethos, you will own nothing and be happy, is lifted directly from the Fabian Society itself. So I think there is going to be a move. I think there's going to be awakening up, but can we? Is it too late? Is it too late to reverse it? That's what I want to know. This is all potential. Potentially, we can do this. We have to step out of the fear, though, and we have to. We've got a tower. Was it in reverse? No, it wasn't. Then we've got the tower. Can we do this? The Fabian Society is all about the total destruction of nation states, the destruction of private property, the destruction of freedom of speech, and all that kind of thing. Before anything happens, there does have to be a crumbling of institutions. These institutions have to fall. And I'm seeing this is also like a mass awakening. But I will say this, because it's just popped into my head. I do believe that this government is going to try very, very hard to rope us into some kind of war. Whether that's civil war, which is what's happening at the moment. They want there to be some sort of riots again, so that they've got an excuse to bring in the digital IDs and to be more punitive with us. They're also, I think I can't remember his name, one of the cabinet ministers, he's appealing for more soldiers, more Navy, more Air Force. I think they believe that if they get us into some kind of war, that they can rescue their position. Because historically, during wartime, the wartime leaders are revered as heroes. And it doesn't matter what they do in between times, as long as they get us out of war and stop the death and all that kind of thing. I think there's going to be some kind of push to get us into war. I'm not sure whether they're going to be successful with that. I think there's some kind of push for some kind of, I'm not taking more than one, some kind of push for war, whether that's at home or abroad. And we've got the Ace of Cups. Okay. It's not going to work. This isn't going to work. There's going to be the whole thing's crumbling. And in order to rescue the reputation and to rescue the whole Fabian ethos and ideology, they're hoping to distract everybody by letting some kind of civil unrest or war start. And it's not going to work because the community's together. Ace of Cups, it's the root, it's from the divine. It's a new bringing together of people, butterflies everywhere, transformation. The old has to die for the new to appear. I think the Fabian Society 100-year-old experiment is at its end. And if you want to know anything more about the Fabian Society, but you haven't got the brain stamina to read all their stuff, because let me tell you, it's very boring, your best point of reference would be George Orwell's 1984. It's very informative. It's almost like Douglas Murray's The Strange Death of Europe is a modern day version of George Orwell's 1984. And that would be the easiest way to try and figure out what it is this Fabian Society are, what they're up to, and what their goals are. Anyway, that's your reading for today. Elena H-U4N. Please get in contact if you wish to claim the prize of the Rider-Waite Tarot in its homemade pouch and the accompanying book. I'm going. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, put a comment in. It all helps. Anyway, I'll see you later. Take care. Ta-ra!